We are going to be filming today in front of my bag closet by special request from one of my subbies. They asked if I could try and get my bags in frame. So I've done my best. I'm gonna admit though, it's not exactly the most comfortable way to film because I'm having to sit on my makeup chair, which is not as comfortable as my shirling chair over there, which my dog is currently sitting on. He's enjoying himself over there. Look at him. Okay, so like the title says, this is going to be a Chanel unboxing. I have a bag here from 21p, which is Spring Summer Act 1. It's actually the color that came out at the same time as the caramel 21p. All right, so without further ado, let's open it up so you guys can have a look at the bag, and then we're gonna do a quick what fits in, because I know that this is one of those bags that people are a bit like, oh, it's not exactly that practical, but I think that it is, depending on your circumstances, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. So I got this from the Chanel boutique in Australia from my wonderful, wonderful sales associate. Like, she is amazing. I'm most definitely on the Chanel train right now, and I feel like it's because of her. Like, I love Chanel bags. I think they're amazing. I think that they never go out of fashion. Chanel is a style as opposed to a fashion, in my opinion. But yeah, she just makes me love the brand even more. So hopefully she never leaves. But without further ado, this is the bag that I got. I know it wasn't a very suspenseful unboxing. So I got the Chanel extra mini cocoa handle. Okay, so it's people sometimes refer to it as the mini because the small, previously mini, is now referred to as the small. I just prefer to refer to it as the extra mini cocoa handle so things don't get all too confusing. Okay, so I've already put the receipt in my phone. I store everything like on my OneDrive. Obviously I keep my physical receipts, but I just prefer to put it on my OneDrive. So I'm gonna give you the color code for this. This is NB353. And the price on this is 5,850 Australian dollars. So I feel as though it's actually fairly reasonable. I mean, I'm going to use the term lightly. It's a reasonable price point for a Chanel bag that is pretty much becoming a classic. I feel like the cocoa handle is definitely here to stay. It was created by Carl, and I feel like this is his kind of style. This is what he likes in like a top handle bag. He created this, he created the trendy. So I feel like this is what he kind of envisioned when it comes to creating a top handle. He loves to create very timeless, elegant looking Chanel bags. And when he goes on more of a twist, that's when you come out with like the Chanel 19. That's when you go like full on, modern, youthful, very different. But when he creates like a timeless classic design, I feel like it's the cocoa handle with the top handle. It's the Chanel trendy. But anyways, enough said about that. Compared to the mini rectangular, the price in Australia is 6,250 with that top handle. So this is actually a little bit less. Has a little tiny pocket at the back. I mean, it's only really gonna fit like a receipt or a card or something like that. I do love that it has feet. So the mini rectangular, the classic flaps, they do not have feet. I love a bag that has feet because, you know, it keeps it off that ground that little bit. I also feel like when they have feet on bags, I feel like I'm getting value for money. It's so strange, but I just feel like when they put feet on, I'm thinking, yes, there is some value for money in this bag. They've put some feet on it. They've had the luxury customer in mind with these little details. It's a small thing, feet, and I'm sure it doesn't cost them much, but yeah, I just like that it has feet. And then you've got obviously the sides, that's how it looks. Opening it up, you've got full caviar leather on the top of the flap here. The bag is actually caviar leather, the whole bag is caviar. I like Chanel lambskin, I think it's beautiful, but I like and love caviar leather because I feel like it is more carefree and it doesn't feel like, it still feels like leather. Like to me, it doesn't feel like it's heavily like it doesn't get that laminated sort of feel to it, like whereas Hermes Epson, I kind of feel like it feels a bit more like kind of laminated, but it's not. It's a heat pressed grain. I think that Chanel with their caviar, it is the same concept. It is actually a heat pressed grain. As far as I know, it is, because my Chanel sales associate was saying to me that the reason that they use lambskin in mini rectangulars is because lambskin really shows the craftsmanship, because lambskin, they have to be very selective of the leather. But yeah, it shows flaws if it's a poor cut of the leather. So with lambskin, they have to be more particular. And then obviously when they're crafting the bag, they have to be more particular as well. So apparently that's why they prefer to do lambskin for mini rectangulars, because it really showcased the craftsmanship that Chanel has. And caviar, however, they could use a really crappy kind of leather, like, you know, not literally crappy, but they could use a leather that perhaps has flaws on its external surface, but when they heat press the caviar grain on, it completely hides that and it would not be visible whatsoever. So that is apparently why Chanel prefers to do lambskin for the mini rectangular. Apparently so, but I do definitely believe what my Chanel sales associate is saying about the fact with craftsmanship, it really does show in lambskin than what it does show on caviar. Now, the bag inside, let me take this out, is actually fully lined with leather for the extra mini cocoa. However, the small cocoa handle and the medium is not, to my understanding. I know the small definitely isn't, but I've never had a medium before. So that's a good thing, because I know some people don't like when it's fabric lined. They feel like they're not getting the full value for money. So if you want to kind of get that feeling, the extra mini cocoa handle is still a leather lined bag. The leather inside does feel like it's a calf skin, but I'm not 100% sure. It could be a lamb skin, but to me, it feels more like it is a calf skin. So the serial card is just in that very back pocket there. I'm not going to show that, but it is a 31 series serial card. Let's talk about the color of this bag, and then I'll do what fits in. So the color, in Chanel boutique lighting, it does not do it justice. In their lighting, this looks like a orangey, oh, not really orangey. It looks like a corally, a very coral peach color. On camera, I feel like it's definitely coming up more of like a peachy sort of pink. And in person, it does look like a peachy pink, but in some lightings, it actually looks like a beige. So to me, I feel like this is a pale pink with a touch of peach and beige in it. So it's definitely a neutral in my opinion. Like if you look at that against the white, to me, it is totally a neutral. To me, I don't see this as like a pop color or anything like that. I feel like my studio light was kind of like a bit too on an awkward angle there. So yeah, that's the color. Kind of is coming off fairly accurate, but in person, I feel like it is still a little bit more beige than what it does come off on the camera. Definitely a neutral in my opinion. Absolutely love it. So I'm gonna take off the stickers that are on the top here because they're getting all manky and stuff like that. And it's got Chanel engraved on there, 31 Rue Cambon. Just nice little details. Now let's go ahead and show you what fits inside this bag. Another thing I want to say, this is more of like a side comment. I realize that with Chanel, they are like, I see Hermes now, I see Hermes as investment bags. Even though I love the craftsmanship of Hermes and I'll never change the way that I feel about them in that regards for craftsmanship. And I see Hermes as investment bags. But I really noticed that since, you know, I've always loved Chanel ready-to-wear and shoes and accessories. That's usually what I would buy from my sales associate. I'd only bought like a couple bags from her, but now I'm obviously into their bags as well. But I realized that Chanel is very good for investment bags as well when you get the classics. Like the Coco handle is becoming a classic. The mini rectangular is a classic. You know, even though it's seasonal, it's still a classic in my opinion. And then obviously the classic flap in the small and the medium, they all do really well in terms of holding value. The Chanel 19, some colors will really hold value, some will sell for a profit, like we know with the caramel. But yeah, it's just kind of, I feel like the Chanel 19 is more of a you love it or you hate it kind of bag, whereas the Coco handle, the rectangular, the mini rectangular, square, the classic flaps, pretty much everybody loves them. And I'm just realizing that I wish I had started buying Chanel sooner before their price increases, even though I'm happy to still buy them now. But I see in the resale market, they sell for a profit and I'm like, wow, like I just never really paid that much attention. Anyways, so let's go ahead and show you what fits inside this bag. So I was using my Senrev bag because, you know, I take my daughter to school a couple days a week. She's in preschool. So this is pretty much like my go-to bag, this and the Aluna. Shameless plug, I do have a Senrev coupon code. I think that they are great bags, because if you're a mum, even if you, or if you're a boss lady and you go to the office and you don't want to carry like a full-on designer bag, Senreve offers you that versatility. The Maestra can convert into so many different ways, so it's great as a work bag. The Aria belt bag is great as like a mum bag, a day bag, you know, that sort of thing. Really great handbags. Truly, they truly are. And I don't know about you guys, but I just don't really want to go and take a Chanel bag or an Hermes bag just to go to the post office, you know, just to go and pick up the kids from school. I'm not about that life. So I prefer to grab my Senreve bags. Truth be told, I know that some people go, you only live once, use your bags, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like it kind of looks silly sometimes, you know, like you're at the post office and you're in like a normal suburban city. Like I don't live in the CBD. I just live in like a family sort of orientated town. So it would just kind of feel sort of out of place, even though I do use my bags when I go out and about. It just for a post office, like to go to Woolworths, I don't know, it kind of feels like a bit weird. But anyways, yeah, my coupon codes are Senreve. They will be on the screen and they will be in the description bar down below. So I'm going to show you what will fit in the Extra Mini Coco. Okay, so this bag does not fit a plus size phone. However, I do have the iPhone mini. This is the iPhone 12 mini and it is amazing. I still have my LG Velvet, which I use mostly for taking pictures because I prefer the camera on that. I just feel like the camera on this throws off too much yellow. It feels like the white balance is a bit off. However, in terms of function and using it, I really enjoy that it's a small size phone. My hands were tired using a big phone to type on and send messages and use Instagram and that sort of thing. Like it was hurting my hand, whereas this, it's a really good size, especially if you have small hands. For a lot of people, they weren't able to really utilize this back pocket unless you were to just put cards in. But for me, I can utilize it for my phone. I feel like owning a small phone just opens up a whole new world of handbags. Like it really does. If you want to know the specs for the iPhone mini 12, I'll link it in the description bar down below because it definitely does offer everything that you need. All right, so Louis Vuitton key pouch with my car fob on there, which is kind of a bit big. The Hermes Bastia with my keys in it. So that's how those look. So it fits the essentials. And then if you want to fit a little bit more like tissues, so I've just tucked the key fob in at the front there next to the Bastia. So that's how it looks. And then I've got my phone at the back there. And if you do need to fit a lip gloss, you can certainly do so, providing, like I said, you've got a small phone. But if you want to just hold your phone, then you're going to have more capacity. You're going to have that little bit more space. And that's how it is with a lip gloss inside, just over here. Now, in terms of hand sanitizer, for me to actually fit this in, because I have a very bulky hand sanitizer, but I think a lot of people just have the really thin kind of spray ones. I really need to invest in one of those. However, I've always got hand sanitizer in my pram and in my car, so I kind of don't always take this with me, but just for obviously the sake of the video, because I know a lot of people do carry hand sanitizers. This is a bulky one though. It does actually fit in the bag. However, I did have to take out my Bastia and I would need to just instead put the keys on top, which I don't like to do. So I probably do need to go ahead and get a narrow kind of hand sanitizer. But yeah, I just chucked the keys on top, so they're kind of just floating on top. Not ideal, not what I kind of like to do, but like I said, I wouldn't really take the hand sanitizer in my bag because I have hand sanitizer in my pram, and then I've also got hand sanitizer in the car too. Okay, so that's definitely at full capacity now. It does still close though. It doesn't look like it's overstuffed or anything. It just becomes a little bit trickier to close when you do have it at a full capacity. And as the bag gets more and more used, it'll probably be that little bit easier to sort of close as well because the leather will get more flexibility. Whereas right now it is still relatively stiff. So if you are thinking about this bag, you would have to consider what size phone you have. If you have an iPhone mini 12, then this is going to be a great bag for you. But if you have a bigger phone than that, say if you have a Samsung Fold, that'll be good as well. Sorry, not the Fold, the Flip, then yeah, this bag will be great for you too. But if you have a big phone, you're just gonna have to bear in mind that you are very likely going to have to be holding your phone in your hand. Okay, so I'm including this part at the end of the video because I wanted to update you on the status of my bag. So I used this bag once and I was in too much of a rush to use it. I wore the bag with jeggings, which were jeggings I had owned for quite a while, but because they are jeggings, they essentially are color saturated in a blue dye. The dye transferred on the back of the bag. And I think what happened was because I was in a warm area, it was making the dye soak and stain into the bag. I also made the mistake of when I got home, I didn't check the bag and I just put it back on the shelf. and it had been just soaking up with that dye for like 18 hours. So I wasn't able to remove it. As you can see, there is like dye all along the back pocket. There was dye along the top just above the back pocket. There was a dye on the corners, and there was dye on the kind of on the edge and a little bit on the handle as well. It's not that noticeable, to be honest. It wasn't that bad. It was a very light kind of staining. However, it still bothered me. It annoyed me because the bag was new. I had only worn it once. I made that mistake of not checking my bag when I got home immediately. I reached out to Bagsamore, which is a bag spa in Sydney. I've actually used her services before. I had my Chanel ballet flats touched up with her. I have done an Hermes bag touch up with her. She is amazing. She does a fabulous job. And this time around, she did do a courtesy bag spa for me. However, her pricing is very reasonable. The bag took about 3 weeks to come back to me, and it looked absolutely brand new all over again. It was as though the mistake had never happened. And as you can see on the video, it looks immaculate. There is no color transfer whatsoever. There's not a trace of it. I was so relieved when I received the bag back. So Bagsamore does create a Luxe Leather Protector Spray. And what this does is create like a layer of protection to help prevent color staining. And then that way you can go ahead and use the Luxe Leather Cleaner Spray, which Bagsamore has. And if you get color transfer on, you can use that spray to clean the color transfer off. Do your own due diligence. Go on the Bagsamore website. The link will be down below. I do have a coupon code with them to get 25% off, which is Purseonfleek 25. My coupon code isn't an affiliate link. I don't get any money from it. This video, like this part, is not sponsored in any way. She didn't send me any payment to say this. I'm just sharing this information because I have used her services many a times and I've been very, very satisfied with it. And I think that what she's offering in her Luxe Leather Protector range, she has a heap of other products. I'll include an IGTV video as well to all the other products that she sent me before that I have demonstrated and used already. She's just got a great range. And if you're an Australian, you will be able to relate to the fact that we don't have the same access to products than what the US has. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Don't leave your bags with color transfer on them for 18 hours. Check them whenever you get home. But that is it. So kind of like what fits in. I'm sure that eventually I'll probably do a review down the line. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.